We are good. We are here. We are ready, and it is in good old fashioned Pac-12 after dark. This is chatted up after dark.
Yeah.
I got Utah and UCLA on my screen. It feels like Pac-12 after dark. I know these teams are in different conferences now, but we're going to leave that detail aside because I'm in my happy place with this. Drew, what a day of college football, man!
Man.
What a day!
Wow.
Week one delivered. I would say so. I think that's fair to say. And we've still got 3 games to go: two
Yeah.
tomorrow, one on Monday. Obviously, I don't see how we can start this any other way, but with the most anticipated opening game probably ever, Ohio State and Texas. Initial reaction, initial thoughts. What did you think about the game?
Yeah.
I know it's not the game, but
It's the week one game. This game, while not the most exciting watch for your casual viewer, was two powerhouse programs, basically just trying to outlast each other. I feel very confident in both of these programs moving forward. I mentioned to you that I didn't catch the first half of this game where I was at.
Yeah.
Early in the day was Syracuse, Tennessee was on. It's just kind of the nature of the people I was with. They don't care anything about the shoe or anything like that. So, man, Ohio State looks really good. And Julian Sayin, while the stats aren't going to jump off the page for him in this game, he did just enough. He is if he does what Ryan Day tells him to do, executes their game plan, they're going to be fine against I would say
the rest of their schedule.
Probably at least 9 of 11 of their remaining opponents. Penn State and Michigan would be the two outliers that I see. Maybe Illinois as well.
Because that game's at Illinois.
Yeah. So
we got a few weeks to see. So sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Saying may have to step up individually in those games, but it's not a bad plan at all for Ohio State to just lean on this defense, which is elite. This is an elite unit, and probably one of the best. It was the best I saw today. It may be the best in college football when it's all said and done this year. I think me and you feel pretty similar about the game. So I'll let you take it from here because you did catch the whole thing. Last thing that I will say on my end about this is, while Arch Manning did not look great, there were a few throws that he made down the stretch. I was like, holy dude.
It's there.
It's there. There were very few quarterbacks in Division I FBS even that can make these throws. It was an inconsistent performance from Arch, but it's not something where you go back to yourself, you go to Steve Sarkisian, you go to your staff, and you say, "Oh boy, we might be in trouble." Not that.
No, it's not even close. And anybody that's trying to sell you on that, anybody that's trying to sell you on, hey, maybe they should rethink this Arch thing. All they did was buy all the offseason media hype about Arch. I was talking to my buddy Matt today, which Matt is in the chat. Shout out, Matt. About this game because we were watching the Florida State Alabama game, and he said something to me, and he was like, I was like watching the game, and I was like, these are some of these throws that I would expect Arch to make. And I'm like, see, there, you said it.
Yep.
You said it right there. I was like, if that was Julian Sayin and he was missing these throws, you'd be like, he's a first-year starter, first-year quarterback. This is his first time. I was like, the media sold you on what Arch Manning was supposed to be and what ultimately he probably will be, but he's not there yet. So he had some inconsistencies. He missed throws. He's a first-year starter. Like, I know he got some action last year, and he looked really good in those games, but he's still a first-year starter, and he's still got to work the kinks out. And he's like, you made a good point with that. He's like, because that's what happened. He's like, it's off-season hype because all from the time the game ended, the last 2 times these teams played until 12 p.m. today, all you heard was about how Arch was going to elevate Texas.
Yeah.
And luckily we had some people in the space that were like, hey guys, rein it in. He's going to be good. He's probably going to be great. But like most other quarterbacks that turn out to be great, he's got to take his lumps.
Yeah.
He's got to. And what better way to take some of those lumps than against this unit that we saw Ohio State trot out to that. We talked about some of these guys in the preview, Davison and Igbinosun, Jermaine Matthews. I did not highlight Sonny Styles, and man, I wish I would have because, dude, he showed up in a big way in this game. We knew what we were going to get from Caleb Downs, so I mean that's just a staple on that defense.
Right.
I expected Bo Atkinson to start, and he didn't. So I'm interested with that. But he looked good in the snaps that he got.
Mm-hmm.
This defense is legit, man, and Ohio State's legit again.
I think
as long as Julian's saying, "Oh, go ahead."
Yeah, I was going to say I think it's the same with Texas. Their defensive unit is not equally as stout, but they are up there. They are. They are going to cause a lot of problems, especially for lower tier SEC opponents. I mean, they may not get 10 points on the board on a good day against this Texas defense.
Yeah, and I think once the D-line kind of settles in a little bit, it'll be better because they, for the most part, controlled Ohio State's run game today, which it's really hard to replace what Ohio State lost in the run game last year. Oh, Trent, what's up, man? Shout out Trent in the chat. Sorry. It's really hard to replace what you lost at run game last year from Ohio State, but you were efficient enough in other areas, and then also you have just weapon after weapon.
Yeah.
You know, it's you do. You've got weapon after weapon when it comes to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis. Max Clare, who I think somebody who had a rough game this game, but I think that's also just the fact that like the matchup for him against this Texas defense. I think that's somebody that down the stretch will become a bigger target and a better target. Yeah. Him and Julian will get more in sync. Ohio State looks really good.
Yeah.
So
and they only scored 14 points. That's all it took for them to win the game of the week.
Yeah, it did. My biggest concern, like I'm not concerned about Arch on the Texas side. Yeah, I know he was off target. I think the stat they were throwing out was 37% of his throws were off target or something like that, which was a high number. But ultimately, I'm not worried about him. I'll tell you where my worries lie for Arch, and this is something we brought up in the preview on Monday.
Yeah,
is I said, what happens if Texas can't really establish a run game, which 4.5 yards a carry is not amazing. I was like, but what happens if you can't establish this run game and Arch is looking for a guy and it's not Ryan Wingo? Who behind him is going to establish themselves as that pass catcher for Arch? And I don't think anyone ascended to that role for Texas. Now it's one game, so it's hard to sit here and say, hey, over the course of 4 quarters in your first game, someone needs to take that role. That's one thing I'm looking out for going forward with Texas, because now they have like 3 tune-up games, a bye week, and then they're heading to Florida. So I want to see how much more comfortable Arch can get with like Parker Livingston and Jack Injuries and like guys like that outside of Ryan Wingo. And then on the play calling side, it felt very vanilla from Sark in the first half. And I don't know, again, I'm not on the sideline. I'm not in the game meeting. I don't know what angle he was trying to take with that. Maybe they were doing that for Arch, or maybe they were doing that for some of the guys on the offense, the receivers, or I don't know, but it felt kind of vanilla in the first half from Sark. So I look for them. It seemed like they opened it a little bit more in the second half, and that's really when they kind of started to move the ball. But yeah, I think that might have just, I don't know where that came from Sark, with them getting kind of vanilla. So
I think it was, this is really weird. It's going to sound like a weird statement, but I think the Arch interception actually opened up the playbook in my eyes. I think once that happened, I don't know if it was, we don't want Arch to make a mistake. Like, we don't want him to look bad. Like, we need to have him come out here and throw the perfect game. And it felt like once he threw that pick, which it wasn't a good ball, it had to be a laser to even, have a chance of getting to the Texas receiver, and it just wasn't. But it felt to me that that once that happened, they were like, all right, everybody breathe. He's made the mistake.
The one.
He's made the mistake. Let's go. Let's start getting. They took the downfield shot to Parker Livingston, who was their leading receiver. I think he only had 2 catches Besides injuries, the tight end, he was actually their yard.
Injuries had the most. He had 50, but Parker had 2 receptions for 47 yards and the touchdown. So
and that was the one like splash play for Texas. The last thing I'll say about this game, and then we can move on, is man, Steve Sarkisian is getting up there for me about these guys that really, really bug me. Like if you have him standing on the sideline in a big game, I don't know if he actually is an advantage or if he is kind of handcuffing you. You're kind of walking into the game with one hand behind your back. I thought Ohio State's fourth and goal stop was great. That was an excellent series for them. Big momentum. They kind of got lucky that it wasn't a safety immediately following that, but that's besides the point. I thought Sarkisian played that entire like first and goal to fourth and goal way too safe, and eventually he got on fourth and goal. Ohio State was like, dude, you're going to try to push us?
Yeah, I'm curious.
We'll do this every time.
I'm curious what they saw there. Maybe it was either Sark or somebody in the booth or something that made them think they could get that kind of push on the QB sneak. Because I mean, looking at the top down angle from Fox, Arch didn't go anywhere. Like he hit that line and stopped, stuck. So ultimately, like Texas will be fine. Trent makes a good point in the chat. It's your first real start on the road at Ohio State. Like I think Texas will be fine. I feel like Texas needed this victory more than Ohio State, but you didn't get it. So you gotta regroup. You gotta go back, clean up what you saw. You've definitely got an opportunity to do that. And then, man, you kick off the SEC with a trip to Florida. So I think Texas will ultimately be fine. I think Arch will round into form. Ohio State, I feel really good about putting them in the Big Ten title game. I feel really – now, don't get me wrong. I say that. Julian's game's coming, and it's going to be interesting to see how the run game and the defense handle that, because he's first-year starter. It's just go ahead and assume at some point he's going to have a stinker. Who it comes against, we don't know. But if you're Ohio State, you hope it's against somebody like Wisconsin or Minnesota, somebody that you can kind of handle a little bit. You don't want that stinker to come against like Penn State or God forbid Michigan.
Or even Illinois. Like I don't
Illinois.
I don't think this while saying I'll give him his flowers for this game, I don't think that this Ohio State team as far as a overall offensive unit is talented enough and will be able to execute enough to get past teams like Illinois if he comes out and just lays an egg. That's kind of where I'm at with them. I feel like we hit all the high points in that game. Sure. I think one last thing. I think CJ Donaldson is going to be pretty good for them. He's a different kind of back that I haven't seen Ohio State have very much. But when it mattered, CJ Donaldson, he got downhill and he got the job done. His yards per carry were like 3.5, if memory serves correctly.
Dude, the way that they chose to run him felt like he could get tough yards.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good sign if you're Ohio State. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think CJ Donaldson could be really good for them this year. So and our last I guess flowers before we move on. Again, Matt Patricia coached a hell of a game on that defense. We had talked a little bit about like this scheme and coming from the NFL to college, and I think I had mentioned it could be a little tough because you might have to kind of simplify it for guys. But I think having Caleb Downs and having that just like field general that you can be like, hey, you need to make sure guys are in the right spot. And you saw it today. You saw it between him and Sonny Styles. Like they were making sure guys were in the right position. Is a huge, huge plus for Matt Patricia. So giving some flowers to the new DC Ohio State. So, well, Drew, I mean, there are other we got one Core 4 game we haven't played yet. That's tomorrow night. So we had two other ones that happened. We're a Tennessee-based podcast, so I feel like it's only fitting that we move on and we talk about a game that happened in Atlanta RIP the Georgia Dome, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Tennessee just buried Syracuse.
Yeah.
Dude, this game did not go like I thought it was going to. I took the under on this game. I got what I expected from the defensive side of Tennessee. I thought they would kind of make it very difficult for Syracuse to have any kind of rhythm, any kind of consistency. What I did not know I was going to get from Tennessee was a downfield passing attack with Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, you're not
he
kidding.
dropped an absolute bomb, and I think that's kind of terrifying. So Joey looked good, 16 for 28, 247 yards, 8.8 on average, and 3 touchdowns. The defense looked nasty. I don't want to overreact, though, because Syracuse was replacing a lot.
Right.
So
what
gotta feel good if you're – go ahead.
What for me, this game comes down to, like, how much do you believe in Syracuse? And if you do believe in Syracuse, then this is a great win for Tennessee. But I am kind of on the other side of the train tracks that says Syracuse is not going to be very good this year. They're really in kind of a transition year. I think that Fran Brown did a great job building that program up to what it was, from where he got it. But I think this is kind of a transition year where you kind of have to figure things out. You're a little bit down, and I think that's what we'll see as the Big Orange season goes on.
Yeah, and I think if they would have had it their way, they would have kept Kyle McCord.
Yeah,
I really thought he was going to stick around at Syracuse. I was surprised when he decided to declare. But now you get the chance to do that with Steve Angeli. So, like, Jeff Nixon can kind of take this year and be like, "Hey, Steve, this is what we want to do. This is the offense we want to run." I don't think this is on the same level as, like, the NC State game last year. I think this is a better team than that NC State team that Tennessee absolutely blanked last year. So I don't want to discredit this win. But I'm kind of with you. I think Syracuse is a team that's in a transition year. They're kind of looking for an identity. But if you are a Tennessee fan, you do have to feel good because this is how you would expect your team to perform against a team that's in the spot that Syracuse is in.
Right.
Like, if they would have come out and the defense looked great, but the offense just ain't clicking. Joey looks uncomfortable. He doesn't really know what he's doing. No wide receiver ones emerged. Like, then you kind of start to get skeptical because as we go on, if Syracuse ends up being kind of the team we think they're going to be, you get a little bit nervous. But they were clicking. Joey looked comfortable. The run game, while no, they're not replacing Dylan Sampson, it looks like they might be able to replace Dylan Sampson by committee, which is not the worst thing in the world. So, Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis, Star Thomas, all looked pretty solid for Tennessee today. I think not to beat a dead horse with Syracuse. But yeah, I think Tennessee fans should be optimistic about Joey Aguilar because there were definitely some concerns. Did I lose you? I think I lost him, chat. I think he's frozen on me. Yep, Drew's gone. We'll see if we can. Oh yeah, okay, he's coming back. That's cool. So got to clean up the penalties. Yeah, that is true. I think that's something you'll get worked out. First game of the year. I think that's something you can kind of expect a little bit from your first game. Live bullets are flying. Like, hey, there's no preseason. What happened now? It counts. So Nico's stock falling at the moment. Utah surging. Hey, listen. On a side note, while we're waiting on Drew to get back, I absolutely just failed the board this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Failed the board this weekend on betting. We have one last hope. We have one last chance, and it's Utah. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I got this game off to the side on the side monitors, just kind of trying to track it while we go through these games. And I feel pretty good about it right now, but we'll see. I felt really good about Clemson, and then that kind of fell apart on me. So while we're waiting on Drew, we'll kind of put a bow on the Syracuse Tennessee game. I think Joey Aguilar could be what Tennessee was missing last year as far as a downfield, connecting on downfield threat players. But I don't want to totally just say, yeah, they've got it, they figured it out, because it's a Syracuse team that's replaced a lot. So feel good about Joey Aguilar, but cautiously optimistic moving forward. If I'm Georgia, well, I'm a Georgia fan. I am a little bit nervous about going to that game, going into Knoxville in a couple of weeks. So, with that being said, we will move on to a game that was not in the core four, but you can't avoid talking about it because to me it was probably the biggest. Yeah, it was definitely the biggest upset of the weekend because Kansas State managed to avoid losing after their trip back from Ireland. Alabama just got kind of pushed around in this game. Thomas Castellanos backed up everything he said over the summer, and Florida State takes down Alabama 31-17. This was the shock of the weekend for me. I thought I loved Alabama at 13.5. I thought this was a great number. I thought Florida State would keep it close early, but eventually I thought the talent would be too much. I thought the returning production would be too much. But man, it just felt like Alabama just couldn't keep it together. Oh, there he is.
My apologies. The system little system restart. Yeah,
you're good, dude. I think I held it down a little bit, you know. Yeah. So we've moved on to talking about Alabama.
Yeah, man. The game I have the most to talk about.
I'm very eager to hear your thoughts about this because watching this game, dude, it kind of felt like Florida State got some good push on Alabama on the offensive line and the defensive line. And this being PFF's number one offensive line coming back, I did not see that coming. I thought Alabama would kind of be able to impose their will, run the ball pretty effectively. They averaged 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a back with more than 35 yards. So
yeah.
I know Jam Miller was out, but if I'm Alabama, if I'm an Alabama fan looking at this result today, even with Jam Miller coming back, I don't feel good about how well we were able to run the ball today. And Ryan Williams took a big shot, so he's probably out for a few weeks. Jeremy Bernard picked up the slack. He had almost 150 yards receiving, but you've got 150 yards receiving and you can't put up 20 points on what is I don't want to say patched together, but kind of is a patched together Florida State team. This is not the same roster that went 2-10. This is not the same team walking out there that went 2-10 last year because they've replaced so many guys. With what Alabama brought back, I'm nervous if I'm an Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous.
This is no doubt the worst I've ever seen an Alabama team look. Not from okay, so for example, Oklahoma last year, the Oklahoma game last year, bad game, terrible game for Alabama. Milroe was awful. They could not get anything going. But the scary part for the Tide this year, I don't actually think they played that bad to where, from what I can see, just one game, don't want to overreact, but from what I can see, they really didn't play that bad. Like the effort was there. I don't think that it was a roll over and die game, but this team they look small. They look very small from what I think of as what Alabama normally brings to the table. I thought their line, the defensive line specifically, looked much smaller than you're used to if you're a Crimson Tide fan. And I thought Gus Malzahn had a perfect game plan. I think he knew that this Alabama team was going to struggle with speed getting to the sidelines. So he said, we're just going to run towards the sideline, and I dare you to stop it. Man, I'm nervous for Alabama. I really am. I don't want to harp on Ty Simpson too much because it's his first game, and he looked like a guy that is just used to being better than everybody else, and able to he was able to make some magic here and there whenever he needed to extend the play, but when he did get away from the initial pressure, he didn't know what to do with it. There was a few that he threw in the dirt. There was one where he should have taken off, but he tried to chuck it upfield. And I think that will come for Ty Simpson with experience. What I'm mainly worried about if I'm Alabama is I think he just got beat in this game. I think you actually just got a little bit outclassed. Normally you when you beat Alabama, and it's been true since the Saban era started, some weird shit has to happen. It's
like last year with Vanderbilt. They couldn't get off the field on third down.
Yeah, or it's a weird like fluky pick six backed up with a touchdown, or Alabama accidentally muffs a punt and you're gifted a red zone touch that you normally would not be gifted. But that was not at all the case in this game. Florida State came out with their game plan. They straight up ran it down Bama's throat. There was no push up front for Bama for large portions of this game. The only guy in my mind that stepped up on the defensive end for Bama was Overton, and that was streaky at best, getting that push. But the main takeaway for Alabama is can't really run the ball. Doesn't look like he trusts Ty Simpson, and your defensive unit kind of got beat up today. So where do you go from here? Is the question in my mind. How are you going to beat teams this year when normally your talent, your speed, your just being better than the other guys?
Yeah.
I don't really see that with this year's Alabama team.
But not even just being like, you're talking about the talent advantage they had with in the Nick Saban era, and they did, but they were also just more like disciplined. Mm-hmm. And one thing to point out, so Alabama was down on their defensive line. They were down Tim Keenan, who is a starter. So, you expect him to come back and help on the D line. But I'm kind of with you, man. I think if you showed me this score on like last Tuesday and you're like, hey, I'm from the future. This is the score. This is what happens on Saturday between Florida State and Alabama. Tell me why. Oh, dude, Ty Simpson threw like 4 picks.
Right.
Like that's what I'm telling you. I'm like, oh, Ty Simpson, the moment was too big for him and he just collapsed. And that's not the case.
No.
Like he didn't throw a pick. He had a fumble. He did have one fumble. Mm-hmm. So that happens. But I'm kind of with you. It kind of felt like Alabama just got beat in this game. And I did not see that coming at all. Like, and looking at what they had. Go ahead.
They just really quick. They even had a not a muffed punt, but just a bad execution from Florida State's return go their way. Which when that happened, I was like, all right, here we go. This is how they get back into it. This is how they escape out of here. They get it in Florida State territory, but there was nothing. They clearly did not trust the run in this game whatsoever. It was they would run the ball, or they would throw a short pass play on first down, get to 2nd and 7, and they just kept getting into 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. And it's very clear to me that this version of Alabama, if it's not Bernard, it's not Ryan Williams, how they look right now, I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea, because it wasn't there today. Now, maybe you get in the future, you get Simpson a little bit more experience. Jam Miller comes back. I think some of those problems will naturally fix themselves. But as it stands here today, I'm worried about Alabama missing the college football playoff.
Yeah, same. I'm worried about this Alabama team, because I don't think that you can point to this and be like, yeah, well, we lost because of this. We lost because so-and-so got hurt, or Ty Simpson was just bad. Like, Thomas Castellanos just kind of backed up what he said in the summer. And that's terrifying.
Oh, definitely.
I know at one point, I should have wrote it down, but they flashed a graphic on the screen. In Alabama's first drive, they had 55 yards rushing. And I think this was in the 3rd quarter at some point. They flashed another graphic, and they're like, since then, they had 1 or I think it was 2 yards rushing. And that was over the span of almost a quarter and a half from that moment. And I'm just like, I'm just not used to seeing that.
No.
I'm just not used to seeing Alabama not be able to get any push.
Yeah. And I think Alabama either his name's escaping me, but I think their best run blocker, I think, went out in this game with an injury or was out in this game. I think he'll help. But man, Caden Proctor needs to figure it out. Like just straight up as plain as I can say it. Caden Proctor kind of got his lunch money taken in this game, and I think if Alabama's going to have any success, he's got to hold down that edge, or they're like Simpson's going to get blitzed off the edge constantly. And as good of an athlete as he is, he's not Cam Newton level. He's not Lamar Jackson level to where you're like, all right, go out there, Ty Simpson, you figure it out, and we'll kind of just piece this thing together.
Sorry, mute button got the best of me. It happens. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm concerned for Alabama. Yeah. I don't love this spot as a Georgia fan because they play at Georgia in a few weeks, and I did not want them to be coming off a fresh L handed to them by Florida State. But as a non-biased, just looking at this game objectively, I'm a little concerned for Alabama. So glad we didn't put that pick on the core four because I think we all would have missed that one.
Yeah, would have had Alabama.
We would have all rolled with Alabama.
By the way, there's only one guy that sits at 3-0 in the core four.
Yeah, there is. There is. And I know he knows about it, and I know he feels real good about it. So,
yeah. The only guy that was it's me. Yeah, it's not Malcolm. It's me. The only guy that had Ohio State and LSU.
He did. He did. That's right. He picked Clemson. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So Drew,
yeah,
as the resident leader in the Core 4 clubhouse, I feel like it's only appropriate that we get your thoughts on the nightcap game.
Yeah. Let me just say,
Death Valley game.
I took a lot of
Clemson.
I took a lot of flack for picking LSU, for sticking with them in the preseason, specifically from you guys, but also in daily life, people that I know that watch this the podcast.
Okay,
listen, Brian Kelly still sucks. Let me just go ahead and get that out of the way. I do not want him coaching my favorite team ever. I really hope that does not come to pass. But dang it, this LSU team's pretty good, man. And they probably should have won this game by more. They have the touchdown called back. You can debate yourself in circles whether that's a catch. It's pretty much the Dez Bryant thing all over again. I think it's a ridiculous call. I didn't like it. If you're going to call that incomplete, you can pretty much call just about anything incomplete.
You can call any catch where they take a few steps and fall to the ground and lose the ball in the fall. You can call that incomplete.
Yeah, he hit the pylon, man. What are we doing? But
don't even get me started, dude. That was
more concerning.
Watching that game, I watched that moment happen, and I stood there and I thought, okay, I'm still alive with my Clemson minus 3.5, but I almost don't want it.
Yeah.
Because he just got robbed.
Yeah.
Like Barion Brown got a touchdown pulled off the board from him.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't understand. And the booth, Kirk and Chris, Matt Austin, they brought him in. They're like, yeah, it's a touchdown. This is easy touchdown all day. And then he comes, like, when he came and announced over the microphone, it's an incomplete pass. I'm like, I must have switched to the wrong game. Like, I looked down at my computer, like, oh, I switched to the wrong game. Like, oh, hang on, let me switch back to LSU Clemson. Wait, what? Huh? What do you mean?
Yeah.
He didn't survive the ground? He took like 4 steps and I thought, I'm under the impression that when the ball breaks the plane, you've got possession, the ball breaks the plane, touchdown.
Right.
Whatever happens then and thereafter, it doesn't matter. Touchdown. Because now if you catch the ball in the end zone, survive the ground, go through that whole thing. But he caught the ball before he crossed the plane with possession, break the plane, touchdown. What are we doing?
No, I have no idea.
What are we doing?
I have no idea. I think
catches aren't real.
No,
that's isn't real.
That's the thing.
If you're going
to call that, then you can easily just call every time a running back breaks the plane on the goal line and then they hit the ground and they fumble, then all of those have to be fumbles too. Like that, it's the same thing. It makes no sense. If I'm Brian Kelly, man, I'm furious about the call, but there's so much good to take away from this game that I'm like, all right, whatever. We still got out of Death. We still went into Death Valley. We won that ball game, and we held a really good Clemson offense to 10 points. 10 points. An LSU team that was much maligned for their defense the past few years held Clemson, who maybe they have a Heisman candidate. I don't know. Klubnik. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very difficult for Cade Klubnik to get the Heisman now because if he puts up big numbers against ACC opponents all year, it can easily just be discounted as that. He's playing. They're playing lesser competition, and he didn't get it done. He didn't get it done against LSU. But I will say, and this is kind of like a TikTok clip that I had working in my mind.
Go for it.
Garrett Nussmeier has a legit shot for the Heisman Trophy this year. Garrett Nussmeier was the better quarterback tonight. I think he has the better weapons over Klubnik in this game. But Garrett Nussmeier answered the bell for me. I thought after the first half, I was more than shaky on Nussmeier. He is helped out by Caden Durham, but Garrett Nussmeier, if he just plays this way all year, which is a little bit safe, and then he stretches it down the field when he needs to, and believe me, those stretch down the field throws were way more accurate than I expected tonight.
Oh man, that ball to Barian Brown was just next level, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it ended up being incomplete. Not going to rehash that.
Yeah.
But that ball was it was beautiful, man. And it's something they pointed out in the broadcast is that his decision-making, you can see it. His decision-making, at least in this game, we have one sample size for this year, looks better than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And something we pointed out in the preview was we talked about the run game and who could establish the run game. And ultimately what led me to pick Clemson was I didn't feel great about their running back situation with Adam Randall and they're a converted wide receiver getting the start. But I thought they would be able to establish some kind of run game. No, LSU and Caden Durham were the ones that were able to. He had 74 yards. Clemson in total had 31. Adam Randall had 5 carries for 16 yards. I know he got a touchdown, but LSU just felt more versatile in this game. Like they just had more options to move the ball. I worry about that for Clemson moving forward. Cade needs a run game.
Yeah.
Like Cade's great. Cade's great. And Wesco's great and TJ Moore's great. But Clemson needs a run game. And they've got to find somebody, whether that's Adam Randall and you stick with him, or you stick with the freshman, I think, who came in but didn't get a carry. Like somebody needs to step up and be the run game for Clemson. Because I'm a little concerned if they, not just for, like them making the playoffs, but in some of these ACC games, if they can't run the ball at all, it's going to make it that much harder on Cade.
Yeah, they're one dimensional, and as good as I think Cade Klubnik is, and as good as this Clemson team is as a whole, what I saw tonight was their weapons are good, but their weapons are not elite enough to where they can just roll the ball out in the ACC and beat everybody by 30 plus. Like that isn't I don't think that's going to be the version of Clemson that we see this year.
Yeah. I do say on a positive note for Clemson, I think Tom Allen is going to get it figured out with this defense because for all the weapons that LSU has and being able to be multiple with Aaron Anderson and Barion Brown and Caden Durham in the run game and the pass game, they still held LSU to 17 to 24 points, depending on if you want to count that touchdown that got pulled off the board. Which I think makes you feel good because that Clemson defense last year, like you had the guys, you had the names, but it just wasn't there. So I feel good about Tom Allen and the hire. I think that will ultimately work out very well for Clemson. But man, run game's got to show up.
And am I to understand that LSU just has a 6'7", 240 tight end who they can just like they don't even have to think when they get in the red zone. It's you go over there and a corner will guard you, and we're just going to throw it up to you, and it's probably going to work about 60% of the time. That's ridiculous. What a luxury. They've got Aaron Anderson. They've got Barryon Brown. They've got Caden Durham. I mean, they've got weapons galore. And then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we got Andre the Giant over here, and he's athletic. He's more athletic than Kyle Pitts.
We got Trey'Nez Green, baby. Which, dude, he kind of flashed. He kind of flashed last year in the Baylor game.
Yeah,
in the Baylor bowl game. So I don't know why. Like doing this game preview, I went back and watched the Baylor bowl game, but just completely forgot to point him out. Like, oh, hey, yeah, they have this 6'7" monster from Space Jam who they can throw the ball to on the goal line. So, yeah, got to feel good for anybody that has LSU going far.
Yeah,
and this feels like it could be a big momentum builder for them moving forward because you shook that curse off your back. You shook you can't win the season opener. Well, you went into Death Valley. You beat one of the national title favorites in Clemson. So now you've got a huge burst of momentum rolling into the rest of your season.
Yeah.
So a big pivotal win for LSU and Brian Kelly. So
yeah, and I think the last thing I'll harp on for LSU is Brian Kelly completely butchered the end of the first half. It just ridiculous. It's inexcusable. So for me, the rest of the season, I'm looking with them. I know you're one of the most talented teams in the country. Now, can you not drop the stupid games? That you showed up, and I think they'll show up just about every time. This unit, to me, looks ready to play in big games. Can you not drop the stupid game to Kentucky? Can you not? I don't know if they play Kentucky, but point taken. A team like that, can you not drop against Vanderbilt? Like, can you show up week in and week out and outclass your opponent when you're supposed to outclass your opponent? And if you do, then you've got some breathing room, and you may be able to drop one to Alabama. You may be able to drop one to Georgia. That's an example, not schedule specific.
They. So speaking of if you want to throw out looking at their schedule, stupid games that they could lose, it would probably be either at Vandy, Arkansas at home. I don't want to say at Oklahoma because I don't really want to consider that a stupid game because we don't know how good Oklahoma is yet. We saw a little bit of John Mateer today, but it's kind of a mid-major team, so
yeah, hard to take anything away from that.
I don't want to draw conclusions on John Mateer looking good against the team he's supposed to look good against. Give it a few weeks, let him play Texas, then I'll draw some conclusions on John Mateer. But yeah, like maybe at Ole Miss, South Carolina at home. Like I agree with you that first half decision to not take points there. Like was talking about it with Matt. Oh, sorry, combatant dogs losing their mind on nothing. I didn't like how they ended the first half. I thought the strategy was, and they pointed out in the booth, to kind of do the hard count. Maybe try to draw Clemson offside, take the delay of game because you don't have a timeout. Also, forgive me, guys. I'm fighting a sneeze that showed up and never showed up, so I got a little bit of the sniffles. But take the delay and then kick the field goal and go into halftime. Instead you go down. You're down 4 at halftime, and instead you're down by a touchdown.
Yeah,
and you kind of just killed the drive momentum you had from there. So I want to see better. I would want to see a little bit better decision-making in situations like that moving forward if this team really wants to elevate and go on a long run. But don't want to sit here and pick apart LSU for getting a good win that this team really needed.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it. I think we covered the core 4. We covered the big games of the day, the big storylines. We're at the 45-minute mark. I'd say we probably have about 5 good minutes left before everybody completely turns us off. So a few storylines that I saw throughout the day. First off, UTEP not making college football playoff. Not happening. Malachi Nelson did not look good tonight. And Utah State actually intrigues me as a group of 5 team. I'll just throw it out there. Bryson Barnes, first-year head coach Bryson Barnes is the quarterback, first-year head coach at Utah State. I know they were playing UTEP, but I'm going to go ahead and put all suspense to bed there. UTEP ain't making it to the college football playoff.
UTEP will not be your group of 5 representative.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw that out the window. Another thing, I probably was among the 15 people that watched Charleston Southern Vanderbilt tonight. Diego Pavia in the doors. I know it's hard to take anything away from these tune-up games. Mm-hmm. This team looks better than I expected. I seriously expected this Vanderbilt team to give up 17 points to Charleston Southern, still win handily, but I expected Charleston Southern to cover the 38.5. This is no longer a gimmicky offense, which I've kind of that's kind of been why I've been down on my own team.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia looked really, really good tonight, and they return all of their best weapons. They return Junior Sherrill. They return Eli Stowers, who is rated as the best tight end in college football. They return Diego Pavia. They return Cedric Alexander in the backfield, who looked really good tonight. What I was most impressed with this team is the defense looks solid. They don't look
like
they don't look great, but they look like a mid-tier SEC defense. This team,
that's saying something for Vanderbilt, man.
This team is going to mess somebody's season up to where I don't know who it's going to be. I don't think they have the guns to play with Texas. They don't have the big boys. They don't have the boundary corners. They don't have the interior defense that they need to play with teams like that. Mm-hmm. But if you catch this Vanderbilt offense on the right night, they're going to be real dangerous. And they're going to next week at Virginia Tech. I feel like will be a good test because they beat Virginia Tech last year, and it was kind of like are you guys aren't going to go 2-10 this year? It was that game, and it's going to be it'll be that this year as well. It's time to see what Diego Pavia actually has as a full season as not the new kid on the block. Is he an established star or is he a fun storyline? Because if he's a fun storyline, that's still fine. If you're Vanderbilt, you still will take that based on your program tradition that you've had in the past. Yeah. But if he's an established star, this Vanderbilt team, they've got the chops. They'll probably go like 6-6, but they're still exciting and they're still going to be kicking, which I kind of expected to be a little bit more down after this Charleston Southern game.
Well, you won't have to wait long to find out about their opponent from next week because Virginia Tech and Kyron Drones take on South Carolina tomorrow at 3:30.
That's right.
So you will get to some advanced scouting a little bit, and Virginia Tech will be coming off of a little bit of a short week. I know it's only one day, but that one day makes a big difference in football. As long as we're talking about our group of 5 predictions, brother. I mean, I'm gonna soak in this until I can, okay? And that's not a BYU joke, as much as some of you might take it that way. I promise it's not. Jake Retzlaff looked good, man, and I know it's Northwestern, but he looked good. 152
they held Northwestern to 3 points, though. That's something. Yeah. I agree with you. There's something there,
dude. The Green Wave, me and the Green Wave go back a long way. It's about a couple of weeks to be exact, but that's a long way. I am all in on the John Summerall train this year.
Buy the stock, baby.
Listen, man, they play Ole Miss in a couple of weeks. We were talking pre-show. Ole Miss put up 63 on Georgia State, but I still don't think they look that good. Yeah. I'm just saying, we'll leave that for another day. Leave that for another day.
Some other
looking out. Go ahead.
Sorry. Some other news in college football. USC put up 73 against the newest FBS entrant, Missouri State. The Kansas State Wildcats. I know this was the last thing that you wanted to touch on, not specifically about the game because neither of us watched it. But the Kansas State Wildcats almost got beat versus North Dakota. And this was not like just looking at the stats, and I watched a 10-minute highlight clip that got cut up on YouTube. This was not just a fluky FCS coming in, some bullshit happens, and they almost beat you. They almost just beat Kansas State. Avery Johnson played pretty well in this game, from what I can see. And I think the biggest thing, and I think you're going to touch on it, is you went to Ireland last week.
They're never going back.
Yeah, nope.
They're never going back, dude. No, you will never see Kansas State in a foreign country playing football ever again. Nope, they won't do it as long. Well, let me not say that. As long as their head coach, which his name's escaped me, but as long as their head coach stays there, they're not going back across the ocean to play football. Nope, they're not going to do it. No, because you go across, you get beat, you come back, you get beat, you almost get beat. Sorry. And dude, when I looked at this game on the ticker across ESPN, when I first saw it, I thought it said North Dakota State, and I was like, "Man, that's North Dakota State." Then I checked myself and realized, no, it's just North Dakota, which is not the same team as North Dakota State. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Luckily for Kansas State, they did not implode 2 weeks in a row and let Ireland get the best of them. But you'll never see them there again, dude. And it makes me wonder, like, with stuff like this happening, is Ireland like a curse for college football teams? Because, like,
Florida State
went over there last year.
Yeah.
And, brother, it fell off the rails, and it looked like Kansas State was going down the same path, and then they have to score with, like, 40 seconds left to beat North Dakota. I'm just saying, I don't know who in the college football landscape is going to be real excited about going to Ireland, or anybody in the college football landscape that has serious playoff aspirations. I don't know how thrilled they're going to be about going to Ireland after watching what we've watched the past 2 years. So, yeah. Any other thoughts you got? Anything else you want to touch on? I do want to give some flowers real quick while you're thinking of that to Missouri and Bo Pribula. They looked pretty good.
Yes.
He dropped 60 something. Feel horrible for Sam Horn. I feel absolutely awful for Sam Horn. Comes in on his first series. They're trying to have this quarterback competition in the game, and Sam gets hurt on like his first snap.
Yeah.
So wishing the best for Sam, but Bo Pribula looks.
He looked
pretty good.
He looked very competent
for Missouri.
I thought Missouri was going to struggle to score 30 points in that game, and they did not. And I think that's big. Really quickly, it's almost 12:30. The Mississippi State over is trending. It's trending.
Listen, if you weren't going to say it, I was going to say it. Drew, we were on this train. Okay, we got one. All right, we
Next
got
week.
The first one. We just need a few more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they play Kentucky, and I'll go ahead and let everybody who didn't watch Kentucky Toledo in on a little secret. Kentucky's not going to win 3 football games this year. It's not happening. Zach Calzada is 85 yards passing. 85 yards passing, under 50% completion percentage. I could sit here and talk about that game all night. I can't believe I even wasted a second of my time watching this game. The final score was 24-16. Kentucky had it in hand for a little bit longer than what the score would suggest. And they ran the damn football, and that's why they won this game. The run game is pretty solid. But, man, Kentucky is in for a world of hurt this year. An absolute this is not going to go well. This is
Are we looking at 2-10?
This is This is.
I mean, it starts next week, dude. They play Ole Miss next week.
This is where the Stoops train gets officially off the tracks, and if he's not able to buy himself another 3 years by beating Georgia or somebody like that again, or keeping it close with Georgia or whatever it may be, this is a bad football team. I think they're actually worse than Mississippi State. I'm here to say that right now. This team is going to struggle because all you're going to have to do is put 8 in the box. That's it.
Oh Lord, that's not good. That's not good. I'll be honest. So many people that I saw were on Toledo, like, because it floated between, I think, 10.5 and 8.5. And when it got down to 8.5, I was like, I don't like that number. It got back up to 10.5. And I'd seen so many people that took it at that. And I thought, do I want to do that? Do I believe? I don't know anything about Toledo.
Right.
Like, I know about Kentucky, and I know how bad they're going to be or they're supposed to be. Brother, looking at the box score, a pure box score watcher for this game, because I did not see a single snap. I should have taken Toledo. I should have taken Toledo.
Yeah, I'm worried about Kentucky. They're somebody that I've had circled for a while. Zach Calzada actually looks worse than Vandergriff. I cannot believe that's coming out of my mouth. But it's just not there. And if it doesn't improve, they're not going to be able to move the ball. So that's all I got on Kentucky.
They have 14 days for it to improve, because let's go ahead and chalk. They're probably going to lose to Ole Miss next weekend at home. Then they play Eastern Michigan at home, and then brother, it is just, haymaker after haymaker at South Carolina, at Georgia, Texas at home, Tennessee at home, at Auburn, Florida at home. October is going to be a rough month for Big Blue Nation. So if you got a friend, I got some friends, my boys, if y'all happen to see this, I'm going to be praying for you in the month of October, because it looks like it's going to get rough. Yeah. So, yeah. Basketball season might start October 1st. So, basketball season's going to come real early for Kentucky fans. So, anything else, Drew, you wanted to touch on?
No, man. It was week one. Checked every box that I was hoping to see. A great week for the unders in a lot of these games. In a lot of the big games. And that's something that I'm kind of going to be looking at. I told you before we hopped on. I had such a bad Thursday and Friday besides USF that I stayed away from all sorts of bets today. But I'm going to be watching it because I'm going to have the Miami Notre Dame under, and I think that I think just seeing the trend across the board, the unders may be the play for the first few weeks before
people get it figured out.
Yep.
Now, I'm with you because what happened to you Thursday and Friday happened to me today. I got absolutely raked over the coals. I only took one under, and I felt really good about it until Joey Aguilar started connecting on bombs, and I was like, "Oh, this is gone. This is gone. No shot." Yeah, they were like, "Oh, you think we're going to struggle on these deep balls? Nah, Joey's got it.
73-yard dot."
Yep. So. Immediately after the series of events where I knew it was over was the scoop and score touchdown, Syracuse drives and scores, and then Joey hits the bomb. I was like, "Oh, this is so cooked. Done. This is just cooked." So, but.
Go ahead.
Utah, we still have hope, man. We still have hope for our chat slip bet. If anybody tailed me on chat slip, we are looking okay right now. I say that. Okay. Just okay. It's 20-7 Utah. 14 seconds left in the half. Nico's been missing a lot of deep balls.
As he does.
Who saw that coming? So.
Yeah. So if we're going to wrap it there, quick plug, follow us on all socials. We're being as active as we can during college football season. If you don't love the long form content, and you just want to see the best moments, our TikTok and Instagram is an excellent place. It's just at Chat It Up Sports. We try to get at least 2 to 3 clips out a week. Twitter is mainly run by me. It's more of kind of a loose collection of thoughts, and there's some memes over there, but also the Core 4 chat slip, early bird special, everything we're doing with that. So if you like what we're doing here, hey, drop us a follow over there, engage with us, dude. I love engaging with anybody that wants to comment on our stuff that has differing opinions. We can have differing opinions. That's okay. We can talk to each other in a respectful manner. We don't have to say that Chase needs to go work at Starbucks because Gunnar Stockton is going to be the worst new quarterback. It's okay. But if you feel that way, leave the comment. I'm still going to like the comment. Follow us on everything. Thank you guys for the ones that did. Thanks for staying up late. If you're seeing this tomorrow, which I'm guessing a good amount of people who watch this are probably going to see this tomorrow. Notre Dame, Miami under. That's all the advice I got for you.
That's all I got. What a parting shot. This has been a After Dark edition of Chat It Up Sports. For Drew, for your boy Joseph, thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you on Tuesday.